Okay, so we're going to do the part called valve lifter. It's a cylindrical part. There's two ways you could do this. You could actually do this as a revolve, which is the way that I'm going to do that, or you could do it as a series of extrusions. But I'm going to show you how to do it as a revolve so that you've got some skills in using that particular tool. So what we're going to do is go create sketch. I'm going to choose the plane that's here, so it's the front plane, so that it'll stand in the correct orientation, so we select that. Okay, so if we look at our drawing, basically we've got something that's 25 mils high and 7 mils wide. So I'm going to draw a box from the center going up, and I want that to be a height of 25 mils that way. And if you press tab on the keyboard, it will jump between your measurement boxes there. And then I want it 3.5 millimeters on the other. And if I zoom in a bit, and the reason why I'm doing it at 3.5 is because that 3.5 is half of 7. So this would be the equivalent of the radius. Okay, so now we've got all that. So essentially we're drawing a quarter profile of the shape, if that makes sense. At the top we've got a dome there with a radius of 3. So what we're going to do is I'm going to draw a circle, and that circle center point is going to be here. And I'm going to do that with a diameter of 6, because that's what radius equals, and put that circle in there. And I'm going to tangent that to the top line like that. Okay, now we've got 3.5 mils here, but on our drawing the top part of this is 6, so it goes down to a line down the bottom where it's 6 mils off the bottom. So what we're going to do is I'm going to draw a line that's basically going to go from that bottom line there up to our circle like that. That little symbol means that that line is tangent to the circle, and we actually want that to happen, so that's a good thing. And what we can do is we can also dimension that. So from the center to that line, we want that to be 3 millimeters, which it is. And then we're actually going to, so that'll be that face that's coming through there. So the next part of this is that we're going to draw a straight line that's going down the center here somewhere. Doesn't sort of matter where it goes. So let's just do that, as long as it's parallel. And you can see that these lines here mean that that is parallel, these little symbols here. So that line needs to be 2 millimeters from the center, so we can actually dimension that if I wanted to as well. So let's go OK, and D for dimension. Dimension that line out there, and we want that to be 2 mil. Okay, now what we're going to do is close this off. So we want from that out to that line, and from that out to that line. So we'll sort of leave that like that at the moment. We're going to add some more dimensions now. So to get this menu up, all I'm doing is right clicking and using that. Press D on your keyboard to get your dimension tool up. And now we're going to add some other things. So these 2 points between there and there need to be 11 millimeters. So let's just do that. So from there to there, bring that out, that's 11. And then from the top point, it's from 7, or we can do the bottom part here from 7. So if you look at your drawing, there's 2 parts to the bottom down here. One's 4 mils, one's 3 mils. Add those together makes 7. So this point from here to the bottom here, doesn't matter which one, needs to be 7 millimeters. Let me shift that up. So now this is all in the right space. So right clicking, go cancel to get rid of the dimension tool. Okay, now we're going to go and draw some fillets in here. So I'm going to get the fillet tool, zoom in a little bit. Now we've got a fillet in here with a radius of 1. So I'm going to actually trim out this line here first. So go to the trim tool, let's trim that. So now you can sort of see it stepping away. And we're going to go back to the fillet, from there to there, and we want that as 1. And from there to there, and we want that as 1 also. And just hit enter. So now we've got 2 fillets in there. We can also use the trim tool to delete some other geometry that we don't need anymore. So I'm going to trim away this line and this line. And we're going to have to put a little bit back in here again. So I'll actually just undo that like that. Because what we need to do is we need to put a section across here somewhere like that to get that step in. We'll fix that up again in a minute. So let's go back to our trim tool. Now trim this off, so we got that little bit there. We're going to trim out that little bit in there. So we're left with that sort of shape like that. And then we can just make sure that we've got all our dimensions still there. So don't forget that this one from here to here had to be 3. So we'll just keep that there like that. Okay, now we can set this bottom one too. So this line from there to there had to be 3. And then from that point to that point needed to be 4, which it still is, so that's all good. So we can put those in there. Okay, so now our shape is starting to look like our other shape. I'm going to clean up the circle at the top of the page using my trim tool. So we don't need this half of the circle and we don't need this half. Don't get confused with this line here. That's actually not part of the circle. It's actually part of the dimension. If I can get hold of my dimension tool there, you'll see that that line moves around and it's not actually part of the circle there at all. So now we've got our finished shape all correct. What we can do is use a circle tool, go down the bottom here, and we're going to put another one down the bottom here that has a diameter of 3. And we're going to do some more trimming now. So we're going to trim away. So we just want this little quadrant here. So let's get rid of that. And we want to get rid of that. And we want to get rid of that. Okay, so now we're left with like a quarter profile of what we've got here on our drawing. If we click on Stop Sketch, and now we can go to Create and Revolve. And basically what we're doing is revolving this profile around that center axis. Oops, we didn't select our profile, there we go. And at an angle of 360 degrees and go OK. And there is our finished product. So that's an easy way of doing a revolve. We've got the little bit on the bottom. So that's one way of doing it. The other way is you could have drawn a circle like on the bottom. You could have drawn this circle and extruded this vertically up, then drawn another circle, drawn that up, another circle, extrude it up, so on and so forth. You could do it that way and get to the top and then add in the fillets after. But I think most cylindrical things are better done as a revolve, so it's good practice to do that. Don't forget to go File, Save. Make sure that you locate this in your Year 10 projects. And mine seems to have disappeared. So I'm just going to go into here and see where this has all gone. Year 10 skills task. So we should be able to still there. It should be able to go save. And I'm not quite sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save this as a valve lifter. Yep, valve LIFT. Save that in our folder and we go from there. And that's it.